got to take a moment and do one of these big adioses to the one, the only, the legendary Terry Boers, who, for those of you that don't know, was a beat reporter for the Chicago Sun-Times. He covered the Chicago Bulls and the Chicago Bears both. And also then went on to become the co-host of the Boers and Bernstein show on 670 The Score in Chicago, and where I got to be introduced to a lot of great sports radio talk throughout my late teens, 20s, and 30s. Damn,
Okay.
It just hurts to say it, Nika.
Time
Flies so fast. Yes, indeed. But anyone that grew up or was around Chicago sports for the last, 30 years would probably know who Terry Boers is in one way or the other. And a lot of great tributes have been going on around the internet this weekend. And I just kind of wanted to throw my hat in the ring and just, be clear. I didn't know Terry Boers. I felt like I knew him. And when I heard Dan Bernstein, his longtime co-host, do his little spiel on, I think I saw it on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. He said it's okay that, yes, you did know Terry Boers, because we spent so many hours with him as fans. Now, he didn't know me, but I knew him, and Dan Bernstein says that's okay because we didn't get any artificial version of Terry. We got Terry. And it's good to hear that confirmation, because I never doubted it. But Terry Boers was a one of a kind. He was super funny to listen to, and yet I kind of wanted to put my journalism documentary filmmaker hat on for 1 second and give a tip of the cap that Terry Boers gave me a long time ago. And that is, he imparted some knowledge on me. I grew up watching Michael Jordan win 6 championships before I ever heard of Terry Boers. And yet Terry Boers talked about Michael Jordan, back in the day on the radio often. And one thing he said about Michael Jordan stood with me, stood the test of time. It still is with me today. And that is that Michael Jordan was not just the greatest basketball player to walk the face of the earth. Michael Jordan was the greatest practice player to walk the face of the earth. And Terry Boers would have firsthand knowledge of that, being covering the team day in and day out. And, he used to talk about how they go at it with each other. And you could kind of see some of this in Save the Last Dance. And while I'm on the subject, the biggest missed opportunity with that whole Netflix Save the Last Dance project was not getting Terry Boers to be a part of it.
No.
Because he was there observing it day in and day out, and he knew why this was happening. Why? The most important question in all of journalism. Why did this happen? Why did the Bulls win so much? Why did Jordan win? It was because, according to Terry Boers, he practiced harder than anybody else. You kind of get a sense of this in Save the Last Dance when you hear Jordan talking about, like, yeah, I showed up to college and within a week I could beat James Worthy one-on-one, And that means he kept doing it until he passed him, and then he went on to the next challenge and the next challenge. And I don't think this ever stopped with Jordan until he finally stopped playing. He did the same thing probably when he went to play baseball and didn't have as much success, but I think over time he would have. If the owners of baseball hadn't tried to use Michael Jordan as a replacement player, I think he would have made the major leagues eventually. Obviously that wasn't in the cards. He went back to basketball, won 3 more rings. But anyways, I digress. I'm really appreciative that Terry Boers at one point in time mentioned this on the radio, and that it stuck with me through all these years, because I think it showed me as a young person and somebody that was aspirational in my life and wanted to go for it, in certain career fields and things like that, that it was about outworking your opponent. There are ways always to outwork people, even now today. I think in our modern world, we've gotten away from this mentality a little bit, that if you want to be the best at something, you got to work harder than other people at it. Like, I don't think necessarily people feel that way anymore. I think people feel like if I want to be the best at something, I better get a big network of people together or a huge portfolio of, people that can help me, and they look at it about, it's not about what it's about who you know. But for Michael
true.
Jordan, it was never about who he knew. It was about how hard he practiced. That was it.
Yeah.
You know?
And it showed on the ring. It showed on the field.
It's why I love sports in a way, is because I still feel like it's about that, and that nothing else in life can replace that. Like, the best players are still going to find a way to make it onto the field in the game, you know?
And practice is hard.
Exactly. And while I'm on the subject, I will say I do feel like Caleb Williams has a little bit of this in him. I really do.
Okay.
I think
time will tell.
I think that Caleb Williams is a hard worker at practice at this phase of his life.
Okay. That's a fair statement.
I think Ben Johnson came in and was set on working him, and Caleb took it, and he's coachable.
That's important.
Absolutely. All right. Well, RIP Terry Boers, and thank you again for all of your time on the radio that you gave me, and I loved hearing about the Bulls especially.